Hey everybody, it's Katie. Today I am making another zine, which is going to appear more like a journal in the end because I really wanted to create something where people could write in themselves, whether that's notes or thoughts, worries, quotes, anything. So it's gonna be a zine in terms of the format, but I'm gonna leave some open space for people to write. And the reason I am doing that is because in a couple weeks here in my community, we are having open studios where all the local artists open up their studio space and their workshops, and people can drive around to each spot and meet the artist, see some of their work, and see the space that they work. So it's a really fun event. And along with my abstract paintings and some of my other work, I want to provide a couple little zines and booklets and journals that they can purchase as well. So my plan is to take this one that I'm creating now to a printer when I am done with it, and then make some copies of it so I can have several on hand if anyone is interested. And yeah, I'm really excited about it. As usual, I am going about creating this zine the same way I usually do. It's just how I work. I start off with just some pencil and I add some squiggles, some marks. I just kind of go at it. I have fun with it. I play. And then I incorporate some markers in there. And I will eventually add a little bit of paint to this as well. I am working on an 11 by 14-inch piece of watercolor paper. So that's really nice because it's durable, but it can also, it's thin enough that I can still bend it and get some good mobility to it, but it also can hold paint and a little bit of moisture and that kind of thing. So it's a nice kind of medium to work on. And there's, of course, different approaches to creating a zine. Some people like to fold the paper and work on each individual page at a time, which works perfectly fine. In this case here, I am just kind of having fun working on the larger piece of paper, just getting some layers down, and then I will cut it and fold it down. And then once I have the individual pages, you'll see I'll go back and add details. The reason I like that is it takes the control out of my hands a little bit because I don't know exactly where all these marks are going to end up once I fold the pages. So this is just purely me playing, making marks, having fun, um, and just kind of seeing what happens going with the process. So I'm using a product called Yamato Glue. It comes in a glue stick as well as a tub to get my collage layers down, and it's been really helpful. It stays flat. A little bit goes a long way, so I've been really happy with that. I will link that in the notes below. So you can see that's my final, so far, my final image there before I fold it. And this is where it gets really exciting. You can kind of start seeing it all come together and seeing what the individual pages look like. I'm using the same format I do with my other zines where I fold it in half long ways first, using a little paint palette there to crease it. And then I fold it in half the short ways, so the opposite direction. And I'm going to open it up and fold each end into that middle fold. And continue to crease it just to make sure it's nice and crisp. And then I'll do the other side as well. Great. And then I fold it back halfway with that short fold. And then I'm going to take my scissors and I just cut in from the folded edge in halfway. You'll see that here. And then do the little smush. And sometimes when you do this, you can kind of pick which page you want to be your cover, however it kind of lands or lays. So there you have it. Go back and just kind of crease it a little extra, especially on the end there. All right, now you can see the individual pages that I have, and I will go back and add, of course I will, because that is what I do, go back and add little details to each page to just make it really fun and personal and just enjoyable. You can see that I use a binder clip to hold the pages open while I'm working, and that's really helpful, especially with these smaller zines. They tend to want to close up on themselves, so that's really helpful. Just adding a few final touches here. Okay, and that's it for the background. You can see each individual page here. And then I'm gonna take it to the next step. I decided for this little journal that I'm making that I'm just gonna print out some words just on regular printer paper and then and glue those on and incorporate them into my pages. So you'll see how I do that here. This front cover just says a little journal for you and your thoughts. And then I use that glue stick once again, the Yamato glue stick. And I am not super concerned about things, being completely flat and stuck on when I'm adding these collage pieces because I'm going to be making a copy of this, so it doesn't have to be exactly perfect. And I'm trying to just smush that on with alongside that wet paint that I just added. I really like to add pieces of paper like this and then kind of do a little paint over it so it really seems like it's blended in and it's not just like I'm pasting paper right on top. I like to make it look like it's incorporated into the piece. This is a good time to take a moment to stop and encourage you guys. If you're interested in making one of these or something similar, to just do it and go into it thinking, it's not about the final product here. It's about the journey and having some time to just play and experiment with colors and some different art materials. It can be really, really fun and therapeutic as well. I've been teaching several zine making classes here in Asheville, North Carolina, and I'm blown away every time by how each individual's zines have been turning out based on their own styles. Some you can tell they're feeling a little more restricted and just kind of trying to stretch a little bit, and then some people just go at it. And either approach, it's really amazing to see how when you start with a large piece of paper and then you fold it down into these little booklets, it comes together into such a beautiful thing. So I really encourage you guys to give it a shot here if you ever have questions or need any help, and just have fun with it. It's a good thing. All right, and then on to the second page here too. I'm just gonna paste in a little bit, um, a little piece of paper here that says, "This is your space." I really wanted to keep this one really open and simple for people. They can kind of use on their own rather than me providing the context or the words for them. And I also want to create a little more white space in these journals since I did do a lot of painting and markups on each page. So I am just adding some paper just to create that white space so people can, in fact, use their journal and fill it in with their words and thoughts. Part of making artwork is to really kind of tap into how you are feeling while you're creating it. And it's interesting while I'm creating this piece because I'm, adding this white space for people to fill in. And it almost feels kind of deeply personal to be providing a platform for people to write their thoughts and notes and that kind of thing. And it kind of caught me by surprise because, I thought I was here just going about making my own little zine, but knowing that I am creating it for another person who will, take this piece and make it their own, add their own, artful pieces to it. Um, I don't know. It just makes me think and be a little more conscious of how this thing turns out, and just knowing that it'll be passed along for something good. It's exciting. Another thing I did with this one is I printed a bunch of images as well as some words just on regular tracing paper. I just did that for my regular printer, and it kind of it worked really well. I'm still able to glue it and then stick it on as you see here. And then it's transparent, so the colors underneath show through, which I think is really neat. I really like kind of how that looks with the different layers. So continuing to add those in along with more white space for people to fill in on their own. Okay, and then on my last page, I always add a little way that people can learn more about me and my work. So this just says happily made by Katie Gebely, and then with my website. And as always, I go back and add little details wherever I can. These Posca markers are so good for this because you can write over pretty much any medium. And they're just really simple and leave some bold marks. So I am just going back and adding some of those details now. And I wasn't super happy with how the front cover turned out. It's okay, but I just wanted to bump it up a little bit. So here too, I'm going to go back with a couple more bold colors and just really make it stand out as the cover. nice journal. I will page through it one more time here. I think it's just a fun, simple way for people to record their thoughts in a very artful and creative setting. So I'm really happy with it, and I hope others enjoy it as well. And here's one more look at what it looks like opened up. And I will put it back together. And there you have it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. As usual, feel free to comment below, ask any questions, and be sure to subscribe to my channel so you can see more videos like this. I hope you have a wonderfully creative and happy day today. See you later.